Listen, we are deep into the summer transfer window, and this one means just a little bit more. And why, you might ask? That's because we are one European club season away from the start of the 2026 World Cup on home soil. And that means every decision matters. For U.S. men's national team players in particular, it's not just about making a move in this transfer window. It's about making the right move. With Mauricio Pochettino putting a huge emphasis on playing time like he should, our players have to weigh the risks in changing clubs. New locker room, new manager, new league, new pressure. There's no guarantee that it works out. We've already seen big headlines with Malik Tillman joining Bayer Leverkusen and Johnny Cardoso heading to Atletico Madrid. But if you're chasing form and fitness heading into a World Cup, changing clubs could be what you need. It could be a blessing, or it could be a curse. Of course, big price tags don't always mean big success. So what are the best transfers in U.S. men's national team history? Personally, I think maybe a few that flew under the radar. Tim Howard to Manchester United, anyone? Clint Dempsey to Fulham? I mean, they didn't break the bank in transfer fees, but they absolutely delivered on the field. So today we're going to take a trip down memory lane as me, Charlie Davies, and Tony Meola get into all of the best summer transfers in U.S. men's national team history and the legacy that these players left at some legendary clubs. Let's get into it. Let's talk, though, about Clint Dempsey going to Fulham first, Chuck. Why was that such a big move? And would you consider that maybe the most impactful, influential for a U.S. men's national team player ever? Where are you on this?
Man, I think in terms of impactful while he was in Europe representing Americans across the globe, yeah, the impact was significant for a field player because, Tony, we all know goalkeepers did their thing. But to go from MLS Rookie of the Year in 2004 to then lighting up the Prem with Fulham, how could you not say this is the biggest transfer in U.S. men's national team history?
Okay, so I want to add to that, just to give everybody some stats. 232 appearances in total for Fulham in all comps, 60 goals and 15 assists. That's pretty legit. He's the first American to play. Yeah, it's really legit, actually.
Come on.
The first American to play in a major UEFA final. He was a Europa League finalist. He scored a great goal in that run against Juventus at Craven Cottage. I mean, there's a lot to like about his move, Big Tones. But I actually want to throw another American, Christian Pulisic, at you. Now, obviously, the Dortmund to Chelsea move could be of interest, but because you're a Milan fan, talk to me about his move to Milan, because I feel like he's had a bigger impact, or feels like maybe he's had more influence and an impact, consistent impact, let's say, since joining Milan.
Jimmy, yeah, I would agree with that. What are you holding on for?
What are we holding on?
Talk about Christian?
Yeah,
but Christian scored in the Champions League team that won
semifinal.
Yeah, he scored against Real Madrid in the semi, and they won a Champions League. The first American to actually play and win the Champions League final. That's all I'm going to say.
I get it. But I'm saying that feels like there's moments of his Chelsea career, but at Milan, it feels like he's been the guy in a different way. So let's get
he's been the man,
and then you come back to the Chelsea thing.
He's been the man at Milan. When you look at moves, yeah, he had an impact in one game that Charlie's talking about. But me personally, I'd say the Milan move has been more impactful. And to use your term, Jimmy, it's been pretty legit. This move. Look, he's had a goal contribution in more than half the games at the club, and I think the most important thing is that he's settled in at the club. And we turn on the TV every single week, and the expectation is that Christian Pulisic is in the lineup for Milan when he's playing there. We didn't have that when he was at Chelsea, but there's no doubt that the moment Charlie talks about is a massive moment.
Okay, so let's get into it, Chuck. Let's talk about Christian to Chelsea. And you think that's more impactful, the move from Dortmund to Chelsea? Than
it's not in terms of what he's done with the club, in terms of his playing time, because with Milan, it's been an overwhelming success, right? He's absolutely killed it in every aspect. What I'm saying in terms of significance as an American competing in the Champions League, scoring against Real Madrid, who basically own the Champions League, and to win the Champions League with Chelsea as an American, carrying the flag. That is so significant. So it's not so much, yes, I think his time at Chelsea had a lot of ups and downs, probably more downs than ups. But when we're talking about the highest of ups of winning a Champions League, he obviously played a big role in Chelsea winning that Champions League. So that's why
Jimmy,
it's so significant.
I would add the fact that a team around the world with that move would look at an American player for 70, 75 million. That's a pretty significant move as well. But I still like his time at Milan and what he's doing there.
I'm with you, Tones. I'm with you.
I think ultimately, once he's finished his time at Milan, it's going to be that'll because he's still a work in progress, right? So we're still kind of talking about in the now, and we have a set time with Chelsea. But yeah, the things he accomplished, winning the Champions League, playing in the Champions League final, unreal.
The streets will never forget COVID Christian. I'll tell you that right now.
That's true.
When there were no fans in the stadium, and this man was killing Liverpool. I mean, Pulisic at that time was on another level.
Yeah, Trent Alexander-Arnold's still trying to find Christian Pulisic. He has no idea where he is.
Man.
All right, let's throw this over to our resident goalkeeper, Tony Meola. Let's talk Tim Howard making the move from the Metro Stars, the pre-New York Red Bulls, the Metro Stars, who you played for, Big Tones, and made the move to Manchester United. That is massive, massive.
Yeah, first off, can we go back to the name Metro Stars? I loved it, and I love the uniforms.
I agree.
One day I'm training with Tim Howard, and I leave. I go to Kansas City, and I'm watching his career develop. And I go on vacation, and I turn on the TV in the summer, and Tim Howard's playing at Giant Stadium with Manchester United. And I know what happened behind the scenes. I know how it went down, and thinking about it, it was like in an instant this happened, and Tim Howard took off from there, and his career just flourished. It wasn't great at Manchester United with regards to the play compared to what happened at Everton, but my gosh, it was an American player going from MLS to Manchester United. The impact that had around the world was incredible. And then, of course, he took off at Everton and became the guy for so many years. But the move to Manchester United, for me, when you talk about significance, was a huge move.
And yeah. Same thing with Christian Pulisic in the sense that they went to a massive club. I think for Tim Howard, going to a Manchester United side that was so strong, that ended up winning the Premier League, and he was a starter in his first season. That's incredible. Yeah. Yes, of course, he had a better and bigger career with Everton because he became the mainstay with Everton for year after year and put in these crazy performances. And similar with Christian. Won a Champions League with Chelsea, but now has obviously found his home in Milan.
Yeah, they paid $3.6 million, Jim, for him.
I know, what a steal.
Imagine he was coming out now. What the numbers would be?
Yeah, 77 appearances in total for Manchester United, 31 clean sheets. He's the first American to win the FA Cup. They did that in the 2003-2004 season. He won the Community Shield, the League Cup, first American to ever start for Manchester United. He was named to the team of the season by the PFA, which is obviously a very honorable list to be on as well. And then, as you mentioned, went to Everton and was just the guy. 414 career appearances for them. All right, let's shift it back to an attacking player because I want to give some love and some shine to DeMarcus Beasley at PSV. The transfer fee then was $2.5 million for Bees. Came in from the Chicago Fire. Ended up getting to a Champions League semifinal, and I think he put himself on the map. We already knew what he was about here in the States, but could he do it over in Europe? And he clearly could hold his own with anybody, which is what makes Bees special, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, I'd say 4 goals and 17 Champions League appearances is pretty significant. The first American to play in a Champions League semifinal. We saw what Bees was made of when he was starring in the 2002 World Cup team as a youngster flying down the channels. For me, this is a massive, massive accomplishment. I mean, he's a role model. He was one of those players that opened the doors for a lot of players like myself. So when I look at what DeMarcus Beasley means to a whole generation, it's pretty sensational. So shout out to Bees because he is one of the nicest and most consistent players on and off the field. What a talent. And, he changed the course for a lot of kids in this country.
Yeah, shout out to Bees too, who's helping build a stadium in his hometown in Fort Wayne, Indiana, to make sure they get USL League One and giving back to the game in so many different ways. So we love you, Bees. All right, Next one, kind of more of a recent one, Big Tones. Weston McKennie making the move from Schalke to Juventus. Obviously, his time at Juventus has been a bit up and down, but we could argue that's been pretty successful and I think should be considered.
Yeah, I think when you think about Serie A moves for American players, the door was opened a little bit. We can go all the way back to '94 with Alexi, or you can do Gooch, just Michael Bradley. But I think it's Weston McKennie that saw the door open in Serie A and kicked it through for American players. And now we had 4 American players in the league last year. I'm hoping that actually we had 5 with Busio. In Serie A. I'm hoping that they continue to go there, but I think it's Weston McKennie's move back in 2020 that proved, at least to Italians, Italian media, Italian managers, Italian directors, that American players can play. So it's got some significance for sure to it.
Yeah, I love that shout. Okay, Tyler Adams making the move.
Woo!
I mean, from Red Bulls to RB Leipzig, maybe even RB Leipzig to Leeds, but I think making the move from MLS to the Bundesliga was a big deal, Chuck.
Yeah, he was a young star. New York Red Bulls thought this kid was the future of the club, and next thing you know, he's in Germany. And he wins the Pokal. He scores in the quarterfinal of the Champions League against Atletico Madrid, the winner. I'll never forget that. And I think that's kind of what cemented himself in that team in the Bundesliga, because now you see a kid who's super tenacious, but can also get on the end of things and score goals. So super proud of Tyler and what he's been able to do. Man, I still think he has a bright future ahead of him.
Oh, yeah. No, he's got a lot to left to play for. And yeah, I'm excited to watch his future as well. All right, last one. And Big Tone's coming to you on this. Brian McBride making the move from the Columbus Crew to Fulham. What are your thoughts on the impact that he had after making his move?
You want significance? My man's got a bar named after him around the corner from the club. So that's some significance. That means you made your mark. He scored in about every 4 games there at the time. He went for $1 million in 2004 from the Columbus Crew. Massive importance.
What a steal.
Yeah, steal. Again, another player. Fits now. The guy battles all the time and became a fan favorite there. But Jimmy, he's got a bar named McBride, so of course it has significance.
I think what's interesting about our list is that each of these players is now continuing, or did at that point, break the ceiling a little bit on what's possible. And now teams can start to trust American players in different ways. So shout out to everybody that was on our list, because they definitely had need to move the ball down the field. And we're very grateful for that, for our player pool, as we continue to burst into the top leagues in Europe. But that's our list. What do you guys think? Hit us up in the comments right now. Who's your top transfer for U.S. men's national team player of all time? Who's your top 3? Whatever you want to give us, we want to hear from you. And then, of course, hit like and subscribe. Do all the good stuff on the Gloss America YouTube channel, and we'll see you soon. I know. You're sad. We've come to the end of the video. But if you want more average to good content from your favorite former U.S. men's national team players, this is the channel to make it happen. Go look at our other videos. Go look at our playlists. And if you want more of the content, the best way to make that happen is to hit like, hit subscribe, and then turn on all of your notifications so that you do not miss anything that we drop or when we go live or whatever it may be. We appreciate you. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.